November 2023 will mark the 60th anniversary of the assassination of U.S. President John F. Kennedy. Significant anniversaries such as these usually provide a time for remembering and reflecting on past events. But in the case of JFK's death, interest in the subject has never waned. Speculation about Kennedy's death began almost immediately after gunshots were heard on a bright fall day in Dallas. Since then, speculation about the mastermind behind the incident has never subsided. Thousands of books, documentaries, podcasts, television shows and Hollywood films have been dedicated to the events of November 22, 1963. However, the more information that emerges, the greater the doubts about what is really happening. No other event has spawned as many conspiracy theories as JFK's death, from mainstream theories about CIA or Cuban involvement to outlandish ones like UFO cover-ups. Now, there's a new twist in the story. Last week, after 6 decades of silence, a key witness revealed new information that adds to the official account of the JFK assassination. In testimony in his forthcoming memoir, former Secret Service agent Paul Landis, who told Jackie Kennedy the story of the day, said he took the bullets from Kennedy's limousine after the president was shot and then left them on Kennedy's stretcher at the hospital. It is a small detail that differs from the official version of events, in which bullets were found in the stretcher of Governor John B. Connally Jr., who was shot while riding in the presidential car. It lends weight to the theory that the shooter, Lee Harvey Oswald, did not act alone. Interest in JFK's death is fueled by a variety of factors. Some text goes here. When you think of Kennedy, most people think of him as an iconic president, says Peter Ling, Emeritus Head of American Studies at Nottingham University and JFK biographer. He was the first television president, and a young man with an attractive wife and fine children. In her upcoming project, Ling has read a small portion of the nearly 2 million letters sent to Jackie Kennedy after her husband's death. The correspondence held at the John F. Kennedy Library in Boston comes from all over the world, and shows the extraordinary impact his death had at the time. This tragic event was also captured on a 26-second 8mm silent film. The video was recorded using an amateur film camera by a Dallas tailor, Abraham Zapruder. At that time, Zapruder was standing on a concrete balcony to watch President Kennedy's arrival. Next to JFK, Jackie Kennedy is seen wearing a pink suit. Moments after Kennedy was shot, Jackie is seen crawling in the back of the car. Zapruder has been called the first citizen journalist, and his footage has been considered by some to have pushed cinematic boundaries. People's fascination with the JFK assassination may be due to the enduring mystery that surrounds it. A year after JFK's death, the Warren Commission, commissioned to investigate the case by President Lyndon B. Johnson, announced its findings. The Warren Commission concluded that Oswald acted alone to assassinate Kennedy. He fired 3 bullets from a 6th-floor window of the Texas School Book Depository. The second and third bullets hit Kennedy, and it was the third bullet that killed him. The report dismissed the notion that what happened was part of any conspiracy, either at home or abroad, to assassinate President Kennedy. The investigative report also concluded that the actions of Jack Ruby, who shot Oswald 2 days after the incident, were an act of patriotism. Soon, doubts and questions arose regarding the results of the investigation, which continued to develop over the years. Some text goes here. One of the problems with the Kennedy assassination story is that we never really hear Oswald's side of the story, Ling said. There is someone who seems to be the perpetrator, although he denies it and claims he is not guilty, but he has never been tried. Amid divided public opinion, most Americans agree on one thing. There is a lot about the JFK assassination they don't know. A 2017 survey found that 61% of Americans believed someone else was involved in the killings. This mystery, coupled with the public's continued interest in knowing more, has proven fruitful for writers, directors, and artists. An estimated 40,000 books have been published about Kennedy, including a number of non-fiction books that feature alternative theories such as the involvement of Russia, Castro, Cuban exiles, the CIA, the FBI, and organized crime. In his 1995 book The Oswald Tale, Norman Mailer delved into the life of the shooter. Writers of fiction have also been inspired by this event. Stephen King's novel November 22, 1963 tells the story of a time traveler who tries to prevent the assassination of JFK. James Ellroy's American Tabloid tells the fictional story of JFK's death from the perspective of 3 rogue lawmen. Don DeLillo's 1988 novel Libra places Oswald at the center of a CIA conspiracy. DeLillo spent 3 years researching it. Some text goes here. I don't know anything other than what happened in Dealey Plaza that day. I deliberately chose the most obvious possibility, that the assassination was staged by anti-Castros, as the simplest way to be true to what we know from history. Will we ever know the truth? I don't know, but if someday evidence of a conspiracy does emerge, I think it will be far more interesting and fantastic than the novel, DeLillo told the New York Times. On the big screen, the JFK assassination has been told in various forms, from being briefly touched on in Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, to inspiring an entire storyline. In 1993's In the Line of Fire, Clint Eastwood played fictional Secret Service agent Frank Horrigan, who was guarding Kennedy in Dallas on the day of the attack. Consumed with guilt over his failure to save Kennedy, Horrigan becomes obsessed with preventing further assassinations. In the 2016 film Jackie, Natalie Portman plays the First Lady in the days following her husband's death. But by far the most important film related to the assassination is Oliver Stone's controversial JFK. The 1991 drama was nominated for 8 Oscars, including Best Picture, but some critics called it dangerous for mixing documentary footage with fictional drama. In Stone's film narrative, the CIA wanted Kennedy dead because he planned to defuse the conflict in Vietnam. The theory has been discussed for years, and has not died down due to the reluctance of the CIA and FBI to speak out. The shocking new testimony from Paul Landis, contained in his book, The Final Witness, which will be released on October 10, is sure to shake things up even further. Because the bullets were found in Connolly's stretcher, the Warren Commission initially concluded that one bullet passed through Kennedy and hit Connolly, causing his injury. This bullet became known as the miracle bullet, although many doubted that a single bullet could have such an effect. But Ling cast doubt on the credibility of this new information. It begs the question of why Landis waited so long to come forward. He argues that he has avoided anything related to the murder for years, which of course makes his book highly anticipated. In his article in Vanity Fair, historian James Robinault said he believed Landis. It's too early to tell where this new information will lead, but one thing is for sure, it won't stop people from continuing to theorize about what happened that day. Thank you for watching. Help the channel grow by liking, commenting, subscribing.